All right, welcome back to another edition of Blue Review. I know you just saw Greg Bergman's and Clinton Yates' face on that intro video, but unfortunately, they will not be joining me, Parker Bell, today. They decided to leave the young rookie out hanging on his own. I'm here all alone in the back studio. Greg busy, Clinton busy, and just like John Ireland from the Mason Ireland Show said not too long ago, the attendance. What was that going to be like? Parker number one, then Clinton, and then Greg, and we're seeing that happen just now. But anyways, I mean, it's kind of a free-flowing show today. It's Friday. I'm excited that the Dodgers got the win against the Giants. That is always amazing to see. You know, a 7-2 win, and just to see the Giants absolutely shoot themselves in the foot was, I mean, they're fighting for a playoff spot, and they make the mental errors that they did last night and the wild pitches that they made last night. It's just absolutely absurd. But anyways, we'll get to that. Today, we got a lot on hand. Emmett Sheehan, we saw him absolutely dominate today, last night, but at the same time, he didn't. So that was interesting. I mean, we'll get to the stat that was really cool about that really soon. But before we do any of this, let me just state, as always, the Blue Review is presented by Los Angeles International Airport. Hire LAX can create life-changing career opportunities for LA residents. So if you want to know more about that, go ahead and check out Hire LAX at eventbrite.com, Eventbrite. So here we are. Again, if you're just joining us, I'm Parker Bell, the one who's usually behind the screen doing the productions and everything, and every now and then you'll see my face when they chime me in. So today I'm going to be producing and doing the show. So it's a weird feeling, and stick with me. I mean, bear with me, guys. This is a first time solo show, and I can't believe that they are letting me do this. So I'm going to open the chat as well so I can be talking to you guys. Carlos Sanchez, I see you, my brother, over in the YouTube chat saying Parker going strong, solo strong move. If you were listening on air the other week when Blue Review started, they said that I was taking over the show because in the social promos I put my name first, etc., etc. I guess I was just foretelling the future, guys. I'm doing it solo now, and Greg and Clinton are nowhere to be seen. So eventually, Parker Bell will be Blue Review. No, I'm just playing. All right, let's get to the real topic here. Giants win 7-2. Sheehan, here we go. Dominates the first 4 innings. Because he did so, not allowing a hit, he became the first player. This is really crazy. The first player, rookie or not, to pitch 4+ innings and not allow a hit in back-to-back starts against an opponent. So back to June 16, we rewind. Sheehan against the Giants, 6 innings pitched, 0 hits. Now, they ended up not winning that game. The Giants swept them in that series, and that was unfortunate. But tonight was a different outcome. Sheehan started off strong. The 4 innings, no hits. He had about 7 strikeouts, I think it was, by the third. And then things start to fall apart there, roughly near I forgot the inning, but he hits a batter, Yasensky. I always forget how to say his name, but the GOAT, his grandfather. And then he walks the next 2, and then he walks a run in, and they take him out. So what are we going to expect with Sheehan moving forward? This is a very telling sign that he can last a few innings and then all of a sudden he kind of crumbles, and it's happened often. I know it's not just Sheehan where this happens, but just it's going to be interesting to see moving forward. We know that it's going to be a very unconventional bullpen and rotation coming into the playoffs. Friedman and everybody below Roberts has said that this is going to be interesting. I don't know how to take that. I'm excited, but at the same point, a little bit scared because the rotation is so tough. Jorge Soria, first-time watcher in the YouTube chat, welcome. Glad you're in here. As always, if you guys have any questions across social media, YouTube, etc., or usually Greg Berman or Clinton Yates will be more than welcome, more than happy to answer those questions. So by all means, throw them in there. Now, back to Sheehan and the rotation. It's going to be so interesting moving forward. We've talked about this nonstop on the Blue Review. It's just it's the likes of something that has never been seen. We tried to compare it to the 2020 season when they did the bullpen, starters, the openers, and etc. And that was the bullpen games, kind of the beginning of the experiment. But back then, at least Greg would say, the bullpen was a little bit better. Now, honestly, I have to say that the bullpen this year is really, really good because they've completely outperformed what everybody thought they would. I know they started off slow in the beginning of the season, but here we are now. Brusdar Graterol kicking, his mother coming in town, and now he's on such a high, and I think that's going to be really good seeing him go into the playoffs mentally ready, and he might be solidified as that. Well, hold on, because Evan Phillips has been kind of struggling recently, so where are we going to see Brusdar? I don't know, but Brazier has been great. Vesia, we just saw him the other night allow that home run, and I don't know, against the Tigers, and I don't know if we're going to be seeing him on the playoff roster. This is going to be weird moving forward because he came back from the injury and kind of looked like he did before the injury. So we'll see with that one. If I had the counter, if you haven't been following along, Clinton's been keeping a counter, Clinton Yates, with names in the bullpen and the rotation who we think will be in the playoff roster. I'm going to have to get back with him when he's back on Monday. But Vesia, that's going to be a name we're going to have to talk about recently. So I do have a question from Jorge Soria real quick on the YouTube chat. Let's go ahead and get to that. Can you be a Dodgers fan and root for the 49ers? I don't think so. Here we are. So producer Jorge, we know you are talking about the great JB. I am just going to leave that conversation for the Travis and Sliwa show. I, in fact, am a Steelers fan, so it's a little bit different, and there's no comparison. But Jorge, born and raised in LA, so I got lots of love for him. And that's right, Carlos Sanchez, Brazier, Graterol, Kelly, Phillips. In your opinion, I'm going to have to completely agree. Those four, and speaking of Kelly, let me just, it's the Mariachi Joe Kelly bobblehead night, and I want to show you guys something I've done recently that is, whether you want to call it hilarious or not, I've tried to add a little bit of good luck to the Dodgers season by going with the Joe Kelly cut. You see me? Come on. I got the little bit of the mullet going. All I need is the mariachi suit, and I'll be set. I'm hoping that kind of gives the Dodgers some luck moving forward. We got another question here from Mookie. I don't think it's that Mookie, but still, we got a Mookie in the chat, which is awesome. Is there any chance of anyone in the bullpen getting elevated to a starter for the playoffs? Well, that's a great question because we saw Sheehan and those guys start off as bullpen guys. I know the rookies that we've been relying on, we didn't know we were going to have to rely on them early in the season. So they've kind of already transitioned into that role. We're most likely going to see, like Pepio, Sheehan, they weren't necessarily supposed to be slated to be the starters in the first five, and here we are. So we're probably going to be running with the bullpen opener. Somebody like Brusdar, I know I mentioned him as maybe late in the game because of the way he's been playing, but he might actually have the stuff to start 1 or 2 innings and then open for somebody like Pepio or Sheehan. So we'll see. That's a good question. Who is the greatest closer in Dodgers history? Jesse Hyman in the chat. That's tough. I mean, you want to say Kenley just because of the impact, but at the same time, the stuff, it's different. You had Gagne, but I don't know if you want to dig into all that. I mean, it's interesting. It's a good topic. I think that would be a good topic for another day. I like that question. Stone Steve Mason in the chat asked, Parker, can you hit 100 on the speed gun too? Unfortunately, Kelly's got me on that one. I don't even know if I'm hitting 75. I was playing some slow pitch softball the other day, and I think that's about as good as I can do is some slow pitch right now. But thank you for asking. I'm not that Mookie, but my best friend is also named Freddie. Oh, get out of here. We have a Mookie in the chat. I gotta stop the show for this. We have a Mookie in the chat whose best friend is also named Freddie. Thank you for joining us today on the Blue Review. I mean, that's awesome, Mookie. Welcome to the chat. But, all right, I mean, if we don't have any more questions, let's kind of get into the game a little bit more. The Giants of San Francisco absolutely shot themselves in the foot last night. And what a trip it was to see. So a close game going into the fifth, and then you see. First off, I just want to say they've dropped 6 out of their last 7, and they're just moving further and further away from the NL West AL wild card. So I can only imagine you Dodger fans are ecstatic for that. But the mental errors that they made was insane. I mean, you saw the 2 wild pitches after Will Smith got the triple, and then JD drove him in with. This was another weird play. JD drove him in with a sac fly, and the outfielder, I'll have to go ahead and check who it was. The outfielder just kind of waited a minute and allowed Will Smith to score that. At that time, it was the go-ahead run. So from that moment on, the Giants just absolutely went downhill. The 2 wild pitches and the Dodgers offense, that's not the kind of team that you can make mistakes against, you know? I mean, you see right here, gift runs on Yaz's meltdown and the 2 wild pitches. Exactly. This is going to be an end of the season for the Giants that's not going to be good if that's how they're going to play. So the Dodgers will say thank you for last night. I will say thank you for last night because now the magic number for a bye is only 2 games. So thank you, Giants, for that. Crypto Ray, shout out the ESPN LA shirt. If you guys ever come to any of our events, these are the new shirts. So you can find these at some of our events. We'll be giving them away. Carlos, not a fan of the mullet. Hey, I'll keep it as long as the Dodgers are winning, okay? So hopefully in that NLDS, this will bring them some luck. Eli in the chat is asking, who will they most likely face in the NLDS, speaking of? And I mean, we're going to have to see that wild card race right now over there is like, there's like 3 teams tied. So it's going to be very interesting. If I had a choice in the matter, I would like for them to face the Brewers, simply because the Brewers have not been a good change-up hitting team this year. And the Dodgers have some great disparity between hard-throwing relievers like Kelly, and then you got some power change-up guys like Brazier and stuff. So I'd love to see the Brewers because I think that would be a sweep. So looking at the chat again, somebody mentioned, love that Jock's home run turned out to be meaningless. Correct. But the thing is, if we're allowing home runs to Jock, because he's not having the greatest year, I don't know if that's a good sign. But we'll save that for another conversation. We appreciate Jock's tenure here and some of the cultural impact things that he did. He's always kind of a good personality. That's all we got to say about that. So we're kind of nearing the end here. This has been tough. Honestly, I got to thank you guys for sticking with me because usually I have 2 hardcore professionals, guys who have been in this business for so long, alongside me with Greg Bergman and Clinton Yates. But here I am, the young guy from the fun and games department. If you follow the station, I've been the one who kind of takes pictures and does the social media, produces behind the scenes. Now I'm trying to run a show. But it's Friday. It's F It Friday, as our friends Mason and Ireland say. So I'm here having some fun with you guys. And I think this is the most we've had in the chat. Every day we get more and more, and it's exciting that me on my own has the most. So let me hear another question from the chat before we, get down to the end here. We got speaking of home runs, what's the over-under on how many Lynn will give up in the playoffs? Whew. Great question, Mookie. Mookie with the best friend, Freddie. We love you. Thank you for joining. Lynn, man, this is tough. We know where we're getting from Lynn. I don't think we're even going to see him much in the playoffs. Maybe 2-3 innings a game at that, because I think they're going to be so reliant on Miller. And, of course, if Kershaw is back to form, or at least 75% of what Kershaw can be, then we're going to be relying on those 2 and a Sheehan-Pepio kind of rotation. And Lynn will just be bloop, off to the side because of how many jacks he gives up. And here's the thing. Over under, I mean, it's got to be 2-3 a game, right? This is going to be, it's just Lynn. Once he got past 30, he was like, well, why not make it 50? Because that's just who I am. I don't know what to say about him anymore at this point. And it is what it is. So, yeah, exactly. Innings eater, home run giver, Lance Lynn. The Dodgers offense is definitely going to have to carry on the games that he plays. So, here we go. A good question from Jorge Soria. With the Padres winning 7 in a row, can they make the playoffs? I'd like them just to beat them. Oh, yes. The sweet, sweet revenge that we want has been simmering inside of us for so long. And I understand that feeling. It's going to take a miracle. They're 4 games back, I believe. Actually, well, I don't know. Since Giants lost last night, I haven't checked the updated from today. But when I checked on Wednesday, they were 4 games back. And of course, they've won 6 of their last 7. So it seems insane to say that they're not out of it. But it's not insane. They're not. We're just going to have to wait and see as the end of the season rolls along if they stay hot and teams like the Giants and maybe the Marlins fall off. So we're going to have to see. It would be interesting to see after all the turmoil and all the drama that followed the Padres. But this isn't the Padres podcast. This is the Blue Review. So although I am going to San Diego this weekend for my lady's birthday, so shout out to her. She loves San Diego, and luckily, not the Padres. She just loves the city. All right, well, this has been Parker Bell. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I appreciate all the love in the chat. Monday, most likely we will have Greg Bergman and Clinton Yates back. But if you guys like what I did, maybe we'll make a change. Maybe I'll make a change because I run the social media. I'm just playing. All right, this has been the Blue Review presented by LAX. Thank you, LAX. We'll catch you next time.